They come in the night. They knock at your door. They speak softly. And then they wait. Something about them feels wrong. Very wrong. Their words are polite. Their voices are calm. But something is off. You can't quite explain it. Then you look into their eyes. And everything, and I mean everything inside you, screams to run. Welcome to another bone-chilling installment of the Static Echoes Paracast. I'm your host, Gary Anderson, and tonight we're diving deep into a legend, a terror, and a modern urban myth wrapped in shadow: the Black-Eyed Kids. These aren't your average ghost stories or late-night campfire tales. The accounts you're about to hear are detailed. They're frightening and eerily similar across time and place. People from around the globe who have never met each other are reporting the same phenomenon. Children, usually two of them, appearing late at night, often outside a car window or a front door. They knock. They ask to be let in. And when the witness looks into their eyes, they see nothing but inky, soulless black. No whites, no pupils, no humanity. And that's when the real fear begins. So settle in, dim the lights, lock the doors. You might not believe, but by the end of this episode, you might just wish you'd never listened at all. Let's begin. To understand the modern nightmare of the Black-Eyed Kids, we need to go back. Not centuries, but decades. Because this phenomenon didn't begin in the dusty corners of folklore. It emerged with a bang in the information age. The year was 1996. Journalist Brian Bethel from Abilene, Texas, was sitting in his car late at night, parked outside a movie theater. He was just minding his business, writing a check to drop off at a nearby drop box, when suddenly he became aware of two figures approaching his car. The boys, around 10 to 14 years old, hoodie clad, pale, unremarkable at first glance. But as they neared, Brian's internal alarm bells began to blare. One of the boys knocked on his driver's side door. Calmly he asked for a ride. They wanted to go home. "We just need to get some money from our house to see the movie. It wouldn't take long." But something was off. Brian describes a deep, irrational fear gripping him. The kind of primal instinct you feel when something dangerous is near, even if you can't quite explain why. Then he looked closer and he saw their eyes. Jet black. No iris. No whites. Just an endless, predatory void. The boys continued to speak, calm and polite, but now their tone was insistent. They told him they couldn't enter his car unless they were allowed in. The words didn't match the growing pressure in the air. Brian slammed his car into reverse and drove off like his life depended on it. When he shared his story online shortly after, he didn't expect the reaction it would receive. People began flooding forums with eerily similar stories, encounters, patterns, memories they'd buried but now dug up by the light of sharing terror. And thus, the Black-Eyed Kids legend was born. Before we delve into the chilling testimonies, let's talk patterns. No matter the continent, no matter the year, these stories share strange and specific consistencies. 1. Appearance. Usually 2 to 3 children, aged 6 to 16, dressed in outdated or ill-fitting clothing, hoodies, sweaters, jeans. They look slightly off, pale, waxy skin, often expressionless, but it's the eyes that haunt, completely black, Not like contact lenses or medical conditions, more like two bottomless pits. 2. Location. They appear at night, often between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. Common locations are outside of car parks, in front of porches, or at rural doorsteps. Rarely are they encountered in crowds or public places. Behaviour. Always polite. They speak formally and calmly. Phrases like, "We need to use your phone," "Please, we need to come in," or "Let us in, this won't take long." They insist. They ask again. They become slightly more aggressive the longer you resist. But they never force entry. They need your permission. 4. Emotional reaction. Witnesses almost always report a gripping sense of dread, a primal terror, like something deep in their souls screams, "Get away." This is even before they see their eyes. 5. The aftermath. Some report illnesses, misfortunes, or even death of pets or loved ones shortly after these encounters. Others feel they were spared something far worse, simply because they didn't let the children in. It's this pattern, this consistency, this chilling similarity across countless reports that elevates the BEK phenomenon from simple story to something far more sinister. Now, we dive deep into the darkness, into the real-life encounters that have left people changed, shaken, and in some cases, still afraid to speak. The following accounts have been collected from forums, interviews, and anonymous reports. Their locations vary, but the fear is always the same. Case 1. The Vermont incident. An elderly couple living in a remote cabin in Vermont described an encounter in the dead of winter. A snowstorm had rolled in and the power had gone out. Around 2 a.m, a knock at the door startled them. The man, confused, peered out the window and saw 2 children standing at the front step. No footprints in the snow, no car, just 2 children, silent, waiting. He opened the door cautiously. The older child, a girl, spoke. "May we come in? Our parents will be here soon." The man felt paralyzed. The cold seemed to cling to them unnaturally. He led them in against his instincts. As his wife prepared cocoa, she noticed their eyes, completely black, like ink, no life to them. Suddenly, the children both stood. The girl said, "Our parents are here." They opened the door and stepped out. A black car was idling at the bottom of the driveway. 2 tall, pale figures stood by it. The children entered the car and the car vanished into the storm. Within days, the couple's cats died, and then the man was diagnosed with an aggressive skin cancer. Is this what happens when you let them in? Case 2. The Texas gas station. A young woman driving alone stopped at a gas station around midnight. As she returned to her car, she saw 2 boys waiting near the back seat. They didn't look at her at first, but she said she heard them inside her mind. "Let us in." Terrified, she refused. She screamed and ran back into the gas station, dragging the clerk out with her. The lot was empty. No boys. No footprints. She quit her job the next day, moved to a new city. She refused to drive alone at night ever again. Case 3. The hotel elevator. A business traveler in Chicago entered an elevator on the 12th floor. 2 children entered with him, a boy and a girl, silent and expressionless. They did not press a button. The man felt a cold dread crawl over him. When he looked at them, their eyes were black voids. The elevator lights flickered. The air grew heavy. As the elevator reached the lobby, the children said in unison,
"You made the right choice."
They walked off and vanished into the crowd. The man fainted minutes later and was hospitalized for a heart arrhythmia, despite being perfectly healthy prior. Each of these accounts leaves behind one common thread: that strange, bone-deep certainty that these are not children. They are something else. Something that wears the mask of innocence to get inside. So what are the black-eyed kids? What does the paranormal world say about these entities? There are several prevailing theories among demonologists, ghost hunters, and spiritual researchers. 1. Demons in disguise. The most common theory suggests BEKs are demons taking the form of children. In many traditions, demonic entities must be invited in, just like vampires. They often come when the victim is vulnerable, alone, late at night, or in emotional distress. The black eyes may signify their soulless nature or the consuming void they offer. 2. Interdimensional beings. Another hypothesis: BEKs are not from our world. They may be travelers from another dimension, mimicking human children to study or infiltrate. But something always goes wrong in their disguise, like putting on a human mask without understanding the soul beneath it. 3. Aliens or hybrids. Some UFO researchers connect BEKs with the alien abduction phenomenon. Black eyes, emotionless behavior, and a psychic influence mirroring the grey alien traits. Could these children be failed hybrids sent to Earth for reasons we can't comprehend? 4. Ghosts or cursed spirits. Others believe that the black-eyed kids are spirits of children who died tragically, perhaps in ritual, war, or sacrifice. Now cursed, they seek entry into the world of the living. But why the request to be invited? Why the fear that grips the living at their very presence? What are they truly after? No matter the theory, one detail remains chillingly constant. They cannot enter without your permission. But what if you say yes? Besides that elderly couple in the first story, nobody really knows, because no reports have come back from people who've let them in. Of course, to balance things out, we must look at the other side of the coin. Science has its own ideas about the BEK phenomenon. 1. Mass hysteria or internet lore. Psychologists suggest that the BEK legend is a modern myth, a blend of sleep paralysis, false memory, and urban legend reinforced by the internet. Brian Bethel's original story may have inspired hundreds of copycats. The brain fills in the blanks. Once you know about the BEKs, your mind may invent them. 2. Pareidolia or fear responses. Humans are wired to recognize faces. When they're tired, scared, or in low light, we can misinterpret visual information. Shadows become black eyes. A nervous child becomes a terrifying figure. Our fear centers activate, we panic, and the story is born. 3. Medical explanations. Some eye conditions like aniridia can cause the appearance of fully black eyes. Coupled with social anxiety or strange behavior, these children may simply be misjudged. But the psychic fear, the aftermath, and the consistency of these stories leaves gaps in this rational explanation. The question remains, even if some sightings can be explained, can they all? The black-eyed kids are a phenomenon that dance on the edge of reality. Whether demonic, alien, or born from our darkest fears, one thing is certain: They ask to be let in, and sometimes people say yes. What happens then? Illness, death, misfortune, or perhaps something far worse. Perhaps the ones who say yes are never seen again. Or maybe they change. So, tonight, when the knock comes to your door, soft, insistent, and at an ungodly hour, remember what you heard here. Don't look into their eyes. Don't speak. And above all, never invite them in. Thanks for joining me in the shadows tonight. I'm Gary Anderson, and this was the Static Echoes Paracast. If you made it this far, congratulations, you're braver than most. Or perhaps just a little more curious than is safe. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this with someone you think needs to hear it. Until the next time, keep your lights low, keep your mind open, and as always, listen to the static.